Today we will hear member statements by the honourable members for the district of Mount Pearl Southland, Placentia West Bellevue, St. Barb Lanson Meadows, Harbour Main, and Torngat Mountains. The honourable member for Mount Pearl Southland.
Mr. Speaker, long-time Mount Pearl residents Pat and Doreen Walsh have many reasons to be proud of their son, Dr. Stephen Walsh. One of those reasons would be his part in developing a promising COVID-19 vaccine. Dr. Walsh grew up in Mount Pearl and graduated from O'Donnell High School in 1990. His studies brought him to Dalhousie University in Halifax, and he later gained his medical degree at McGill University. Dr. Walsh now lives in Boston and is a member of a research team that is in the final phase of human testing on a promising COVID-19 vaccine. Mr. Speaker, for a small province of just over 1.5 million people, Newfoundlanders and Labradorians continue to punch well above their weight, whether that be in business, the armed forces, sports, the arts, and every other aspect of human achievement. Dr. Stephen Walsh is yet another example of one of our very own excelling on the world stage, in this case in the field of epidemiology. I ask all members of this Honourable House to join me in congratulating this exceptional Newfoundlander and wishing him all the best with this critical research. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Placentia West Bellevue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I sit in this chamber today to speak of a great lady, Miss Juanita Gilbert. Miss Gilbert has been a resident of the local service district of North Harbour in my district her whole life. She spent her childhood here. She met her husband here. She raised her family in North Harbour. She's a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. Over the years, Mrs. Gilbert has been witness to many advancements in modern-day living: the evolution of electricity and indoor plumbing, the transition of the washboard to the washing machine. I've been told one of Ms. Gilbert's favorite pastimes is to sing, and that her voice is much like that of a lovely songbird. Mrs. Gilbert celebrated on October 27, 2020, and I ask my fellow colleagues to join me today in wishing Mrs. Juanita Gilbert a very happy 84th birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Juanita Gilbert. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for St. Barb Lanson Meadows.
Mr. Speaker, it is a pleasure to recognize a strong woman, Mona Snow of St. Leonard Griquet, who, like her mother, has taken the reins of volunteerism and does all she can to help her community and those in need. From her involvement with the fire department, Salvation Army thrift store, or helping those travel for medical appointments, she's a fundraiser extraordinaire. Mona serves as president of the Fireettes and has worked hard to fundraise with her team to help support the fire department, purchase equipment, and contribute towards a new pumper truck, which was delivered to Fire Chief Tyler Hillier earlier this year. In July, Mona took up a new initiative with Wendy Dale Woodford, Trifina Sims Roberts, and Rona O'Reilly to raise funds to get reusable water bottles for the students at Truman Edison Memorial in Gunners Cove and White Hills Academy, St. Anthony. These women recently made the presentation of 375 reusable water bottles to all the students at these schools. I want to thank all individuals and organizations who support it by donating towards this cause. I ask all honorable members to congratulate Mona and these community-minded residents for giving of their time to help our students and those in need.
The honourable member for Harbour Main.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in this Honourable House, I'd like to reflect on our Royal Canadian Legions, our veterans, and this year's Remembrance Day, and how different this day will be celebrated throughout our country, province, and even our own districts due to the global pandemic. The Legion is the largest veteran support in the country, who mostly operate off poppy sales. My district of Harbour Main has 2 Legions, Branch 64 Holyrood and Branch 65 Brigus. They are planning opting for a much smaller yet heartfelt, intimate ceremony this year. There will be no parades and only public laying of wreaths of the Legion, provincial and federal governments. Our veterans are an important part of our history. This is a time when our veterans have been isolated for months, and I would encourage each of us to thank a veteran when you see them in your communities over the coming weeks. This year is the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. 75 years of peace because of our veterans is truly remarkable. I ask all members to please join me in thanking our legions and our veterans for everything that they do to remind us lest we forget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Torngat Mountains.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I pay tribute to Rod Pilgrim of Nain, Nunavut. Rod Pilgrim is known for his mechanical knowledge, but especially for his kindness. You can't find many people in Nain who Rod hasn't helped. Rod Pilgrim moved to Nain in 1974. There he found a home. He worked with Newfoundland Hydro for over 39 years before retiring. His ongoing volunteer service is amazing. Serving on the Canadian Rangers for 12 years, also heavily involved with Nain Recreation Committee back in the early days when activities were primarily at an outdoor rink. Rod serves with the Nain Volunteer Fire Department since 1975. He continues to serve with the Nain Torngat Housing Committee for over 15 years and also is a long-serving director of the Martin Group Home. All volunteer positions. What sets Rod apart is the time he puts into helping people. He fixes appliances that otherwise would have to be replaced at great cost to residents. Fridges, stoves, washers, dryers, furnaces. He gets calls in the middle of the night. A furnace is not working, water lines may freeze. Often he keeps a wait list because he's so busy. Sometimes a part isn't available in Nain. He checks scrapped appliances for a part that tied people over. All service volunteered. He will not take a cent. Please join me in applauding Rod Pilgrim's contribution to his community of Nain. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.